Hey everybody, coming at you, it's Deadby Hero. Today we're talking about the Game Boy Advance trilogy, Sonic Advance. It's good, it's cool, it's great. Without further ado, let's get into it. Now, like with many of these here on we talk about here on Game Talks, I started the series with the third one. I didn't play the first one until a few, if not more years after I played the third one. And I didn't even own the third one, my brother owned the third one. That one plays pretty different, similar but different. This one is more just your prototypical side-scrolling Sonic game. You hold it right and jump occasionally. Not so well and good. I think that's what people really like about it. Heralding is even like the spiritual successor to Sonic 3, even better than the actual sequel we got, Sonic 4. In Sonic Advance plot is, again, typical Eggman's trying to conquer the world. Sonic has to go and stop him with his gang of colorful characters, who you can choose from immediately from the start. All of them. You can play as Sonic, Tails, Amy, or Knuckles, and it's great. You can pick from any one of them from the beginning, and I love it. Of course, I picked Sonic my first step through. He's the main character. Let's go, MC powers. And from there, you'll start noticing there's a few differences in how they play, because only Sonic and Amy can grind on rails. Tails and Knuckles cannot. Tails can fly, Knuckles can do his little gliding, climbing up the thing. I think maybe some spots where they could break or dig into it, maybe getting confused with a different game, but beyond the minor differences they have in play style, it really isn't like too much to talk about in gameplay. It's classic side-scrolling Sonic gameplay. Everyone plays pretty similarly to one another. Levels are good, cool, but they're well designed. Stages are fun. Eggman's back with a multiple of different machines and bosses for you to fight. And the final boss, which you need to get, again, all 7 Chaos Emeralds to fight, which you have to find these springs, if I recall correctly, in the stages, which will shoot you up into the atmosphere or the stratosphere or something like that. And then you like on a board, like surf or glide your way down. Very more reminiscent to the Sonic 2 style of running through the half pipe, which becomes a series standard, which I think for pretty obvious reasons. And there really isn't too much more I can 100% say on it. It just feels like a Sonic game. If you know that classic 2D Sonic feel, you know what I'm talking about. It just feels like a Sonic game. Returned to like form with a few minor extra bells and whistles going on here. Nothing too extreme, nothing to really like put in or take away, because they just did the thing, they did it right. It was good, it was clean, and that's all we wanted, that's all we asked for. That was it. The music in the game was pretty good. Like, one of my favorites is actually Neo Green Hill. And that kind of the entirety of the OST. Most Sonic OSTs are pretty good. The OST this one again was particularly for GBA, just boppy goodness. I enjoyed it quite a lot. But instead, I don't 100% recall like the final boss of the game with Super Sonic. That's really awesome. In Chaos Emeralds got to fight Super Sonic, which they didn't put back in here from like the classic games, which a lot of people were wondering why not, because Super Sonic is just reserved for like the end bosses now, and I'm just like, I understand because they're super strong and whatnot, he needs the power to, defeat them, but why can't we go in Super Sonic in the stages? I don't know, I think maybe because, I always assumed, rather, because a lot of the time I made it too easy. Like, if you had like the 50 requirement, go Super Sonic, especially like in a boss fight or something, you just cheesed the boss fight. But I mean, I put in the work. I went through the stages, I got Super Sonic. I'm cheesing this boss then, so just let us do it, guys. Come on, just let us do it. There's no reason as to why you can't just let us have it. I think I vaguely remember what the boss is, and I'm just like, oh, so I wasn't that taken aback by it. Then again, it was like, that was towards the end of when I started doing a lot of like stuff on the GBA, because I think around that time we started getting more into the DS. Speaking of sequels, let's get to Sonic Advance 2. This one's actually a bit different. Well, you can't play as all of them straight from the get-go. You have to unlock them. You start as Sonic, you go through the stages, and you progressively unlock them in different stages. I remember exactly which ones. I know you unlock Tails first. Like after beating like the first boss of the first area, you can play as Tails. The thing about it is you have to play as Sonic to save everyone. You can't play as Tails to unlock him, then go save Knuckles or Amy. You can't do that. Speaking of characters, this game introduced the new character, Cream, the rabbit, and her OP ability with her Chow. I mean, that was a little unfair, guys. It didn't seem like in some instances they just didn't bother balancing, but I can see why it's your first showing. They want her to be really good and strong and powerful, so I can kind of get it. And fun fact about Cream, if you didn't know, she was initially, because she's a rabbit, supposed to be a speed type, but then they were like, well, I mean, she has those big ears, so I make her a flying type, and she's been a flying type ever since, and I've appreciated it. Not that I wanted to find her being a speed type, it makes sense, she is a rabbit after all. But I mean, a rabbit flying with their big ears, you don't see that too often now that I think about it. You see them mostly just, run really fast. Sure, every so often you get a joke, but for the most part, not really. Anyway. This is the one I played last, and actually my least favorite, and that's mostly to how you get the Chaos Emeralds. The stages were fine, the music is fine, most things are fine, but that aspect I just can't get behind, because you have to get these Chow, or these items in each individual level with every single character to get the Chaos Emeralds. I think this is special stage more so kind of more similar to Sonic CD. Remember the layout? I think Zero is there from Sonic Adventure 1, chasing Amy. So I thought that was fun, but it was just, I deal with all of the characters, and then it was just too annoying. And as a kid, I didn't have the patience for it, like, whatsoever. Or the prerequisite skill to do it. I wasn't very good at video games when I was a kid. Yeah. Speaking of which, this game is actually the game I wanted instead of Sonic Battle when I got it. I told my dad I wanted to get this Sonic game. Like I think Sonic Advance 2, but he was busy. So I guess he misremembered it. He knew it was a Sonic game, but get the Sonic Battle instead. A mistake. A happy accident. I'm thankful since I like that game more than Sonic Advance 2, so I'm happy that happened. Something was looking out for me, because I knew when I was a kid I wouldn't have liked this as much, and that was a mistake, so thank you. Thanks, Dad, for misremembering. No, the tiny chunk from Sonic Advance 2 and Return to Sonic Advance 1 is worth but most of my time in both of these, so I saved it for this one specifically to talk about it, since Sonic Advance 2 doesn't have one. Mostly because if you have Sonic Adventure 1 and Sonic Adventure 2, but you don't have another console or whatever, you can actually transfer from your GameCube onto your Game Boy Advance with the cable, your Chow. Me, my brother, and actually my sister found to use those things to transfer between the two games Chow, to get up different sets and do different things with them, then transfer them back. Sure, sometimes they came back bald and whatnot from when it came to certain animals that didn't exist. The fact that we found a way to actually transfer using the Sonic Advance games as a medium between the two systems, I thought it was really cool. Kind of looking into the past and the future. I spent a lot of time doing that. It was quite fun. And the final boss in this one was kind of like the pseudo final boss with some actually kind of interesting looking mech suit Eggman had, but the actual super final boss, they kind of looked like a shrimp or a crab of some kind. That kind of shot lasers or missiles from its tail. It was just kind of weird. I don't know. But I didn't get to that point until later in my life. because I just, as a kid, I just couldn't get to him. I just didn't have the skill, the inclination to. It was too annoying. Well, that being said, on the Sonic Advance 3, which is the most different out of the three of them, because again, you have to unlock characters. Amy, Cream, Knuckles, Tails, and Sonic are all back, but this time you have to use a partner wherever you go, which I thought was interesting. It was actually the first one I played when I was a kid. Like I said, my brother owned it. First Zebra Sonic game we owned, well, he let me play it, and it was fun. Because I got to use like Sonic and Tails, and each like team had a different like team combination of abilities and like attacks. Like if you have like Sonic and your Tails and you charge up, I think it was with the R button and let go, he'll like shoot you really fast. If you're Tails or something, he'll like throw you really high or something like that. And Amy would just think somewhere and think like in certain combinations you get certain like team names and different certain like team like abilities, like fighting buddies with Knuckles and Sonic. And it's actually pretty interesting idea and execution. But beyond that, again, it's pretty similar to most prototypical 2D Sonic games. It's not a whole lot different going on there, except that you can use these team abilities now to circumvent and bypass certain stage hazards and options. Like if you don't like doing those like seesaw, spike ball things, if you have Tails, you can either just fly up there or like have them shoot you up there or something. Like, oh crap, if I'm feeling a little too slow, if you have Sonic, you can make it move faster. If you have Knuckles, you can like hit something harder and other things. Like, it's actually pretty fun, especially when you're just experimenting, see what each one can do seeing what they can do with each other, and seeing the certain like team names that come up. And again, the plot Eggman's trying to conquer though, but this time he's like blown up the world to like 7 different pieces, a la Sonic Unleashed kind of, and need the power of the Chaos Emeralds to restore. But this time he has a mysterious black robot helping him out called Gemerald. And if you've ever played Sonic Battle, we talked about him, Emerald, which I think is like Sonic Advance 3 and Sonic Battle are connected like that. Sonic Advance 3 is the sequel to Sonic Battle. He took the leftover parts from Emerald and he made Gemerald. You'll fight periodically throughout the game. Who I wish they would bring back. I actually like the concept of Emerald / Gemerald, like being brought back as a different robot, transformed into like something else because his other parts were destroyed. So I think that was just interesting how they did that. Again, back into the special stages, and these ones, it's like they tried mixing like 1 and 2s a little bit. We had to get these springs, but to get the springs you needed the key. But to get the key, you had to find like 10 littered throughout these zones, right? You had to get them all for each zone. Then it would unlock a key, which you could use at the spring, which I think is like in the overworld hub area, which would take you to the special stage, which would again be a la Sonic 2, but this time be flying on the tornado, if I'm not mistaken, and you would be going through the rings, dashing, and it's all a Sonic 2, so it's pretty similar to that. A bit different because you have to worry because you're flying around now, but still pretty much the same. Again, I didn't really get all of them when I was a kid. I wasn't that good, but a little later in life, I did get there. So it was a happy medium. Looking back on it, I'm like, fine, whatever, I can live with that. 1, I like the best. 2, I like the least. 3, somewhere in between. I'm like, whatever. Because I can get them with each character. I didn't just have to be with each individual character, which that was the annoying part. It wasn't time to get the idea of each individual character. That's a lot to do. I get it, you won't be able to play that. It was a lot to do. When you will unlock all the characters and get all the Chaos Emeralds, you get to the final boss, who isn't Eggman. It is actually Gemerald, who has taken 1 too many hits to the dome piece after all these battles and betrayed Eggman and become some giant Gemerald head tentacle robot thing. Oops. And it's fun because like Sonic then goes Supersonic after General uses the cast moves to transform actually, and then Eggman joins him, and then you get your first and only in these series of games team between Eggman and Sonic, where you get to use like Eggman's like team attack Hadouken thing to damage him or weaken him or something like that, and then you can, well, that's how you really beat him. You do that thing, and then you dash into him with Sonic. If I'm not mistaken, could be misremembering. It's been some time since I've played it. But again, it's fun. It's actually again the most interesting and different out of all of them. Which is probably why it sticks out so much in my mind. That and it directly connected to Sonic Battle, a game that I love and the first one I personally owned. So I remember it better. Yeah. After that, after the credits roll, you see him like washed up, like General back to normal, washed up on like a beach or something, where I think Cream or something finds him. He just lives with her now, which I kind of want him back. Let's see what they do. Let's see what they do with him. What did I think of all the games? I liked all of them ultimately. At the end of the day, Special Stage, Annoyances aside, I like them all. They're prototypical Sonic games. But this is so short, it's not a lot to talk about. If you played a prototypical Sonic game, you know what I mean. If this feels right, it feels good when it's done correctly. It's just amazing. Again, there's the adventure, like character designs. I like them. They're the characters. I like them. Not much more to say. Again, this was a short one, but thank you for listening, and I will see you guys next time.